Well, it's the Herb and Rodg podcast. Once again, proving that we don't need plans. We just go on when we feel like going on. So,
Going with the wind.
uh,
Just got to do what we got to
yep.
do.
We didn't really have time for it on our regular shows, so we kind of wanted to throw out a quick little thing here tonight and do a little finals preview since they do start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Boston versus Mavs. Raj, first initial thoughts when you saw this matchup. Like, how do you feel about it overall? Is this one of the better matchups? Are you disappointed? Like, what are you thinking?
Initially, and I guess, initially, I think this is actually a really, really, really good matchup for both teams. It's not, of course, what I expected going into the playoffs. I thought it was going to be Denver and Boston, and then Denver repeating as champions. But then I saw the work Minnesota was putting in through the playoffs, and then I thought they were going to be the team to represent the West. But then they took that hook to the right chin and by Dallas and their backcourt. I don't know. But overall with the matchup, I love it. I think Boston's got, when you look at both teams, Boston has 4, and I might be jumping the gun here, but they've got 4 starting players that are two-way players. Derek White, Tatum Brown, and Jrue Holiday. I think Jrue Holiday made another all-defensive team this year. And then you look at Dallas with that backcourt. Is it considered a backcourt because Luka is a small forward? So is it still considered a backcourt? Or
Luka's like more like the point guard.
He is, but he's like kind of big. So I guess
technically. Did you see Randy like what?
What
Randy,
are we doing?
We don't make plans. Randy, we just jump.
Shout out to Randy. Shout out to Randy, man. We appreciate you jumping on. But this is just kind of a whim thing. So I think it's a good matchup. I love the matchup. I'm really, really looking forward to the series. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I do like, so you know me, half the times I'm either rooting for a team, like you'll see the Bucks, or I'm rooting against a team. And this is one of those rare matchups for me. Like, I like that, and I've told you this before, right? I think I said on the show, I have never liked Kyrie, but like I've been rooting for him and the Dallas thing to work out. And I feel like he's just changed his whole outlook. So it's a good situation. So I like him. I love Jrue Holiday. He's always been one of my favorites. I was happy with him with the Bucks. I thought I was a bigger Dame fan, and they traded Jrue, and I thought I was okay with it. Apparently, I'm not okay with it. Bucks, whatever now. So, Drew's another guy I feel like I could root for, and it's like I don't hate anybody on, like, who'd you dislike on the Celtics? Like Tatum and Brown, I mean, they're just, the guys. Al Horford, he's been playing since the 80s. Good guy. Derek White got free of San Antonio. Good, just like, this is going to be a fun matchup. Like, my biggest hope for this series is it goes at least 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when you look at both sides of the ball, I mean, well, first of all, before I get into that, I mean, obviously I'm going to be rooting for Dallas because LeBron's in the Lakers. They suffered the gentleman's sweep. I know.
Do you have more hatred for Pete? Like, you don't want Golden State to win for LeBron. You don't want the Celtics to win for LeBron. Like, it was like 3 teams that are allowed to win.
No, so this is the thing. It was like, okay, after the Lakers lost in the first round in 5 games, I'm like, okay, Denver's going to repeat. Then I started really liking Anthony Edwards in Minnesota. I was like, okay, Minnesota's got a nice young team. They play good defense, good offense, etc. They lost, obviously. So now I have to default to the Dallas Mavericks because they're the hometown team. With me leaving here in Texas, I mean, Dallas is the hometown team. I'm going to go with Dallas. I'm pulling for Dallas.
I've never seen you default to the Cowboys.
But I've told you that. They're my second favorite team because I live here. You know that. Yeah, and you've teased me a lot of times by saying they're my favorite team. So you are very, very aware of that. You have to default to the hometown team. But I just think overall it's just going to be a really, really good matchup. And one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, for Boston, who do you think they're going to put on Luka and Kyrie at that? Who's going to guard Luka? Who's going to guard Kyrie?
I feel like and this is shout out to JB, who was just, oh, by the way, you want to know the most confusing thing? JB just came on with a live special right before this, right?
Yep.
And stupid YouTube alerts, I'm not getting there. So, right. I don't know what that means. So they kept talking about JB and JT. When I hear the names JB and JT, I'm thinking our boys, Saturday night, all that stuff.
Right.
I didn't even realize that we're still talking about Celtics.
You're talking about Tatum and Brown. Yeah.
The law firm of Tatum and Brown. So he thought that Jrue Holiday might get some time on Luka. I feel like with Jimmy Butler being a little bit bigger and how he torched them when he was in Milwaukee, I can see Drew chasing around Kyrie more and maybe some Derek White action, and I could see the bigger
And
Tatum on Luka.
I thought they would put Jaylen Brown on Luka. I mean, I could see either Tatum or Brown, but yeah, I would say get somebody with some bigger size. So I'm going to go with Brown on Luka, and then again, Drew Holiday is one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's going to do what he can to Kyrie. But let's be honest, nobody's going to stop Kyrie. Kyrie, in my opinion, one of the best point guards ever. I think he's the best ball handler ever. Great shooter, really, really composed. And Kyrie has a tendency to make like the most difficult layups look so easy. Like he just practices them 30 to 40 times every day. And then people just look at him like, I don't know how he just spun the ball off that side of the backboard.
No.
And it went in, jogs back. He doesn't smirk. He doesn't laugh. He just jogs back like it's just like it's easy work. So,
Kyrie had like a left-handed half hook shot floater in the lane to win a game this year.
I was like,
what?
So, and don't tell me you practice that. That's just a difficult looking shot, but it just looks so smooth. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I missed this. Yeah. I don't know which one this was. First off, welcome in to Ghost Warrior if you're out there. I can't.
Yeah, appreciate you for jumping on, Ghost Warrior.
So, yeah, if you want to clarify and send it back out, we'll talk about whatever that was. So, So there are a lot of narratives going into this finals, right? I'm gonna start with the one that I hate the most. Boston has the easiest road to the finals, right?
Why do you? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I might interrupt you. You might allude to it.
No, go ahead. I think it's probably a good question.
I said, why do you hate that the most? Because I kind of get the feeling like they had a much easier road than Dallas. I think we can both agree on that.
I'll agree on that, but there's two reasons why I hate it. First off, that's no fault of their own. Okay, so they are the best team in the regular season, the number one seed in the East, the number one overall seed, right? So saying that they had the easiest road, every team wasn't going to be as good as them, no matter how it went, right? The fact that, Miami was losing Butler. I know what happened last year, but this Celtic team feels different this year. I think they were still taking out Miami, right? Cleveland, Spider got hurt and they had stolen the game. I don't think anybody thought they were winning that series, right? And Indiana can run at times, but Indiana at times play better without Halliburton than with them. And they just don't play enough defense to stop Boston. So Boston was already going to be the favorite. So saying, they had an easy path. It was kind of set up that way by being the number one seed. That's not their fault. Yeah. Number two, and this is the thing I have always told you, right? If Alabama, let's take basketball because football, it's only 12 teams. Let's say Alabama basketball next year gets a number one seed and they play the 16 seed, right? And then they play like the 9 seed. And then there's some upsets and they play however it shakes out, the 12 seed and then like a 13 seed, and they make the final. I will be the happiest person alive. And if somebody comes to me and goes, Alabama had an easy path, I'll go, great.
Yeah, but it's not an easy path when it comes to March Madness, though, because we're used to seeing upsets.
Right. But still, my thing about it is I'm saying I don't care. If I was a Celtics fan and you said, hey, I had an easy path, I'd go, we're in the finals, and I don't really care what anybody.
Yeah, what I'm saying is they did have an easier path. It's not their fault, though. They didn't. They earned it. They earned the number one spot. They earned the number one seed. So yeah, much kudos to them. I'm just saying their path was easier. I think the real question here is, even though with them having an easy path, can they finally capitalize on being the number one seed and complete the championship that has really evaded Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for a number of years. The last time they were there was what. Was it when Golden State was there? Was it 2022, I believe?
2 years ago.
When Golden State, 2 years ago. So this is they came close, I think, in 2018 when they lost in the conference finals to the Cavs.
I'm sorry, my headphones cut. I couldn't hear what you said. Sorry. Come on. Well, last year though, remember they made the conference finals. They just ran into a buzzsaw with Miami, but almost became the first team to come back from a 3-0 deficit. And I think they were one of like 3 or 4 teams to force a game 7 after being down 3-0. So they were close. This team is built for success this year and in future seasons, but they got to get it done. So that was the path for. And I agree with you. Has the path been easier? Yes, but when people use it as they haven't been tested or whatever. I'm like, they just played the people in front of them. So I just don't feel like it should be used as a detriment against them. And like I said, if I was a Boston fan, I'd be like, you can say whatever you want. I don't care. On the flip side, Dallas is. I mean, what they do? The Clippers. Then
they did the Clippers. They just finished Minnesota. Was it Minnesota?
Thunder and then Minnesota.
The Thunder. The Thunder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So who was the number 1 seed?
Their path was a little different. I think for Dallas, when you look at their path, we start off with the Clippers. I mean, the Clippers pretty much had the same story that they've had the past few years. Great regular season, but then their stars can't make it into the finals. I mean, into the playoffs. With Kawhi Leonard, of course, his knee was flaring up again. I'm assuming pretty much missed the entire first round. So they lost. Going to OKC. OKC was the number 1 seed. Really, really well. Young team, respected team. They're really, really building up things in OKC. It just wasn't OKC's time yet. I think OKC has obviously they have their star in SGA, a good number 2 in Chet, some good perimeter players, shooters, and Isaiah Joe, but they just don't have enough scoring yet to kind of get over what they don't have anybody on their team. They don't have 2 assassins like Dallas. Dallas has 2 assassins on their team. They can give you 30, 35 a game if necessary. And then obviously the Minnesota Dallas series was one that I was highly anticipating. I really thought I picked Minnesota to win that series because of what they did to Denver. And I thought Anthony Edwards was going to have another phenomenal series. He had a great series, but there was the thing that happened with Minnesota was that Cat he shot the ball really, really poor. And when you look at his field goal percentage in the Western Conference Finals, it was just really, really bad. He stepped up maybe in the game 4, that one game they won when he just went off. But Game 5, if anybody watched Game 5, Luka came out and he said, "Listen, we're not going back to playing Dallas."
That dude.
Luka came out, scored like 20 plus points in the first quarter. He was talking his trash. He said that this is it. We're ending this tonight, basically. And then Kyrie had a slow first half. He had like 5 or 6 in the first half, but then he ended up with 36 because he got about 30 in the second half. So I think they both had 36 in Game 5 to kind of close that out.
They had multiple games like that. I think Game 4 was not a good one, but I think it was like 33 for both of them in Game 3 too as well.
Right.
So they this was an interesting one because people kind of played the rock, paper, scissors. They were like Minnesota would beat Denver because of the matchups. Denver would beat Dallas because of the matchups, and Dallas would have beat Minnesota because of the matchups. So it's funny how that kind of you play the team that's really built to beat you the way that kind of went around. So that's what a lot of people thought. But Luka was just on another level in that series.
He was.
Kind of get him. So my only problem ever with Luka, to be honest, has just been the complaining. Like at some point, can we stop? But talking to the refs.
He does it, and then like it's funny because I hear it about LeBron, and does LeBron complain? LeBron complains, but I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about that. LeBron complains a lot, but Luka does it. Luka does it a lot. It's like every little call, and then he looks at the refs. He stares, and I'm sitting there like, how is he not getting a tech for some of this stuff?
Every single play.
Every time,
it drives me crazy to be as good as he is. I'm like, just play, and you're gonna be fine. But the guys that think that there should be a call on every play, like, do you want everybody to foul out? What are we doing? So we were just talking about him. What's up, JB? Just had a nice little.
What's up, JB? We just.
Sports special. I wondered what some of these guys to know. I was we were looking for houses today while I was listening to Randy, so I was ignoring everything about the house and my realtor, riding around with my wife and niece, and we're getting food, and I'm ignoring the guy taking my food because I'm listening to JB. Like, I'm trying to support my guys out there. So JB just had a great special on with the Boston Celtics fan, Neon Dion, if I got that right. So appreciate you. And then Way Offsides, they're on what, tomorrow night, said 8:00.
Yes.
So they've
shout
got
out
a
to
nice
Way Offside. Shout out to the Way Offside clique, man. They got a collection of guys over there doing big things.
We do a good
Herb
job.
And I follow you on Twitter. Shout out to Way Offsides again, man. We definitely support you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Yep, and thank you for the happy birthday wishes. So
yes, appreciate it.
Yep, tomorrow. So we'll definitely catch those. So so it's kind of funny talking about the kind of way these teams do it. Celtics went after what Porzingis, and then kind of basically got handed Drew Holiday after all the kind of roundabout way from the Bucks. Which, by the way, if you're a Bucks,
Hold on 1 second. You just mentioned Porzingis. We have any updates? Is he? I think last time I checked, is he playing tomorrow? Or is he
I think he's playing tomorrow. So last I saw was he was good and he was on there. So I think he was playing tomorrow. So getting those were 2 big moves for them. Now Porzingis is going to be rusty. He ain't played since like 2023.
I know.
It's going to be interesting. And the Celtics as a whole haven't been out there since for 10 days. but there's a hugely they're a deep team, a great 3-point shooting team, and they put that team together very, very well. I think top to bottom they have the better team. Dallas is another one though who I was reading an article about it today. They basically tanked last year to get the number 10 pick so they could keep their pick. They got Lively, who's been a great pickup, and then getting PJ Washington at the trade. And what's the other one? Was it Jones or
not Gafford, was it? Was it Daniel
Gafford? Yes, Gafford. I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. Washington and Gafford at the trade deadline has made them really kind of into a top 10. Plus, also Kyrie deciding to play defense has made them into a top 10 defense.
And all three of those guys you named, with the exception of Kyrie, Kyrie is helping, but all three of those guys you named, Lively, Gafford, and PJ Washington, have been huge in the playoffs. PJ Washington has hit some really, really big fourth quarter shots. And the combination down low of Lively and Gafford have just been huge. They're doing exactly what Dallas needs to do: rebound, get some good blocks. And Daniel Gafford's a great defensive player, and then get the alley-oop. So they're doing. It's going to be interesting to see that, because Dallas's big man plays a different type of style as far as Boston's big man. Horford and Porzingis are like stretch 4, stretch 5. They're going to go out there and shoot threes. Dallas's big men are going to stay down low, and Luka knows how to use them, because Luka will dribble the ball for 5 or 10 minutes, dribble it into the paint, draw the defense, and then just throw it up for a quick alley-oop, and then Lively's just right there to get the easy bucket. So that'll be an interesting matchup to see as far as the front court for each team.
Yep. Real quick, we'll do this. Yep, definitely. I enjoyed it tonight, Randy. Definitely appreciate it. So, yep, JB, always gonna be there for you, man. So appreciate it. Like I said, I didn't get the notification at first, maybe because we were driving around, so I had to jump in there late. So
that's
you,
another
Randy.
thing.
We appreciate it. And like I said, this wasn't planned, but anytime we can get on live, we're gonna try to. Go ahead, Rob.
That's another thing. When you what JB just mentioned as far as the support, whenever we see people in here commenting, if y'all aren't following each other, just go ahead and give everybody a shout out. Check out what everybody else does. You can even check out what Randy does, even though he's a Dogs fan. Good guy, gives out good content about his team. Same with JB, same with Way Offsides. Everybody just check each other out, show each other some love, follow each other on social media platforms if you can. We're all here just trying to achieve the dream and just talk sports, man. So. But yeah, the NBA thing that we're doing right now was just kind of something we threw together earlier today. We had our regular podcast last night, but we mentioned the NBA Finals maybe with like 5 minutes left, so we didn't really get time to kind of do a deep dive into it. But that's what we're trying to do today. So overall prediction, Herb, I got Mavs in 6. You have.
So that's an interesting one. On JB's show, I threw out my predictions. I said I think it's either going to be Mavs in 6 or Celtics in 7. I'm not picking less than that. I'm gonna go with Mavs in 6. I don't think they want to go back to Boston for Game 7. Now, give shout out to JB. He did mention if they go back to Boston for Game 7, he said that's going to be a virtuoso performance by Kyrie going back to Boston. So that could be interesting. I think they want to avoid that. I always pick wrong. So if you're a Boston Celtics fan, you should be very happy right now. But I just think Luka's kind of on a mission. I mentioned kind of briefly earlier, Kyrie is playing great defense these days. And I think the role players. So on the other show, they mentioned this. They ranked the players. And it was like Luka 1, JB and JT 2 and 3, Kyrie 4. And like the next 5 people were all Celtics. And like I can't argue with that. They have the more talent. They have the better team. If Porzingis is 100% healthy for this series, it might not even matter what Dallas does, because whoever is guarding him, if they get pulled away from the basket, that's just going to change a lot.
That's why I mentioned the contrast and play down low earlier, is because if Porzingis and Horford stretch it out and shoot those 3 balls, they're not going to have anybody down low to kind of get those rebounds. So I don't know. The Celtics can win this game at the 3-point line, at the perimeter. Win the series.
But I think they can win it in a variety of ways, and that's what's going to make it scary. First off, you have everybody can shoot threes all the way down to Horford and Porzingis, so all across the board you can. So that's going to be tough. They've got some good. Tatum can get to the basket. Brown can get to the. Brown's on a mission because everyone made fun of him after Golden State. He's on a mission. So I was asked, or they asked the question, who you thought was going to be MVP. I said Luka if the Mavs win. I'm picking JB if Boston wins. What do you think?
I'm gonna go definitely Luka if the Mavs win. I'll go with. I feel like Tatum is the obvious pick.
And that's what it was picked on the show.
That's why, yeah. But I'll since you picked Jaylen Brown, I'll just go ahead and take Tatum. I'll take Luka and Tatum, but I think it's definitely gonna be Luka if the Mavs win. I think that's just a clear cut choice.
Before we let you go there, Rodg, give me one either like dark horse person or underrated person for each team that you think could swing the whole thing.
Lively for Dallas.
Which, I mean, was that not one of the best number 10 picks for a guy like, I don't need you to be a superstar. I just need you to do what you do right there.
Just do your base. If he can get them 10 to 12 points a game, 8 to 10 rebounds, a few blocks, that's all they need for him. They don't need him to go out here and do like 24 and 20 type numbers. Him for Lively for Dallas. And I would say Drew Holiday.
Oh, you can't sit over here and watch me wearing a Bucks hat and take Drew Holiday. I'm making you pick somebody else. No.
If he can use his defensive prowess on Kyrie or whoever he's guarding in this series, that's definitely going to help Boston win the series. So, I got to go with Drew Holiday.
Yeah. Drew has always been one of those guys where I always thought you don't ever want Drew to be like your first, your best player, maybe not even your second best. But if you can slide Drew with great defensive roles, your third or fourth best player, and no pressure on him, but he gets some shots for you, get you 13, 15 points a game and great defense. Like, he's the kind of guy you always want on your team. So I love Drew. Definitely a dark horse. And I feel like I'm going to go PJ Washington because you just see seems like it's 20 points and 5 threes or like 3 points. It's like wild swings from him.
Yeah. But I just think overall this is definitely a series I'm looking forward to seeing, man. Game 1 tomorrow night, 7:30. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. And then, of course, after this year, hopefully LeBron and the Lakers will be back. Don't do that, Herb.
I didn't.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
No. Sorry, man.
We're gonna get Bronny with that 17th pick in the draft, and we're gonna he and his dad are gonna lead us to the promised land. What?
I wore the shirt for a reason.
I see the stains on your shirt.
All right, so Celtic fans rejoice. We both picked Mavs in 6, so there's probably 0% chance. So do you want subs that don't watch your stuff and aren't active in community, or does it matter to you? I think when you're trying to get your numbers up, you're like, we want everybody to sub. And then once you get your numbers up, you're like, I want more people that are like talking to us no matter what side that is on. So no, I mean, it's always about the question. We're still at the low numbers, so we're like, we want everybody to sub. Once we get to the point where we want to get to, I know it's going to be. So take Twitter for an instance. There's several people that I know in there that have high numbers and don't get the engagement that they want. Yeah. And that's how I complain. We've been lucky at low numbers to still get decent engagement. So we're happy. Yeah. So we definitely want the subs up, but I at least want to get to a point where I can complain that we're not getting the engagement we want. So I don't know if that's a roundabout way of
luckily we haven't had to experience that yet. Like you said, whenever we do the live podcast, I mean, we get a lot of engagement with everybody, and overall, Herb and I are just happy doing this, and we're blessed. We're happy. Love talking sports as much as we can, and we're definitely gonna try to increase our presence, our social media presence over as time progresses, and get the subs and get some more attention on here. But we're having fun, and it's not gonna stop anytime soon.
And I feel like everyone deserves to see this face. Like, there should be more.
They do. It's still your birthday week, man. So just celebrate.
So next week you'll disagree with everything I'm saying?
Next week, yes.
Fair enough. So Rodg, was fun jumping on here real quick. The people watching know Rodg has twins. So that should tell you all to know he's taking time out just to show the people some love. So
yes, they are currently sleeping. We'll probably feed them around 11 or something again. So we'll try to figure out. So.
Yeah, we think we're busy. Randy's busier than both of us combined, man. So I agree,
Randy's on this 24/7, man.
So all right, Mavs in 6. I'm gonna be disappointed. On the last show was predicted maybe Boston in 5. I would just be disappointed overall. I'm kind of looking forward to this final. So, and Rodg, little tidbit, we're not this down, but I might watch a little of the Stanley Cup Finals too as well.
Really?
The boys at the Cinco Squad is saying, "Hey, man, you got to get into some playoff hockey."
Gotcha. I watched the last Game 4, Game 5 of the Dallas and Edmonton game because I was really hoping the Dallas Stars would make it, but of course they lost to Edmonton, so be it.
Sorry, bud.
Have you ever been to a hockey game?
One ever, and it was like a lower level one because it was, I think, in Huntsville. But we actually sat where in one of those little booths or whatever they call them, where like you can't put your drink in the glass because when somebody hits the glass, it shakes the whole thing. Fun environment. Like if I was gonna go, I would love to go and be that close again. But I feel like hockey is one of those things that you got to experience in person at least once.
I agree. I've only been to one. I've been to a New York Rangers game when I went to market for New York back in 18 or 19, I forget. When a vendor took me and her brother to a
1918 or 1919?
2008. Anyway, went to a Rangers game. Loved it. Excellent experience. I would definitely go back to another hockey game.
So, see, there you go. NHL, man. So
NHL.
I'm gonna try, Randy. I'm gonna try and give it some love during the playoffs for. And of course, there goes Trina. Yep, from Edmonton. I know she was excited. I saw her posting when that happened. So I'm gonna give it a shot, man. I'm gonna watch a little and see what we think. Rodg, I appreciate you taking out some time. Definitely wanted to get in extra time to break down some NBA finals. And man, looking forward to the games tomorrow.
Can't wait.
But gotta stay true to ourselves. So everyone have a wonderful night. But still, roll Tide.
Roll Tide.